Hi, I'm Nick Fahrenkopf, CEO and founder of Wibly, a visual learning platform that turns dense subjects into intuitive knowledge maps, helping students to grasp the bigger picture and chart their own path towards understanding. So, education is struggling right now. K 12 math scores in the US have been declining since I was a private tutor over a decade ago, and they show no signs of improving. Now, a big component of this is that traditional learning just isn't working with today's students. And this is especially true for neurodivergent thinkers. And many get left behind because the system wasn't designed for how they think. I saw this all the time as a private tutor. One student I had was 2 months behind in calculus, came into our very first day, and the first thing he said to me was, I'm just not a math person. I'm never going to be able to learn this. But after 20 minutes of drawing out what he was learning visually, everything clicked. He didn't need another lesson. He needed a new format. And that's where Wibly comes in. So Wibly is a visual learning platform that helps students to make sense of complex topics by turning them into interactive knowledge maps. We don't just tell students what to learn, we help show them how everything fits together. By guiding discovery, identifying gaps, and reinforcing understanding, Wibly helps students turn scattered facts into connected knowledge. To do that, we take traditional learning resources, we condense them down to the core ideas, we connect all those ideas together, and then we display that in an intuitive map that helps students to see the bigger picture. With Wibly, students can explore ideas at their own pace, zoom in on any areas that they're struggling with, and see how ideas relate across topics. To defend our innovation, we filed 2 provisional patents. The first covers our usage of AI to build out these initial knowledge maps, which are then curated by education professionals. And then the second covers our personalized mastery tracking system that helps students see what they've learned and what they're ready for next. Wibly is currently targeting a market of 57 million students spread across grade 6 through adult learning. And our initial geographic focus is starting with the US, Australia, and the UK. So the US is our home base and is the biggest edtech market. So this is going to be our main focus. But we're also actively expanding into Australia and later the UK with the help of one of our lead partners, as both of these countries have very strong support systems for neurodiverse individuals. At this early stage, we're heavily focused on neurodiverse students as they face the greatest learning barriers, and in total represent about 20% of the target market. Our initial target customers are alternative learning programs. So these are where neurodiverse students go when they need support beyond the traditional public classroom. This includes private academies, tutoring centers, and any other neurodiverse focused programs. Since education is a very heavily trust-driven space, our early outreach will be focused on building relationships with established players. And while our long-term vision does include serving the schools and universities, our near-term focus is more on partnering with the programs and platforms that are already embedded as part of those ecosystems. Wibly is a SaaS platform operating on per-user license subscriptions. So we offer the standard flexible terms, including tiered plans, volume discounts, and annual-based access. Licenses are primarily purchased by these learning organizations for their students and educators, who will make up the bulk of our user base. And we've had a lot of exciting momentum recently. We're currently working with 10 strategic partners. Over half are running pilot programs actively shaping our product. And these partnerships and LOIs are projected to convert to roughly 1,300 paying users near the start of the school year, Q3 2025. So one notable partner is Wikimedia. We'll be seeding some of their data into our wiki library to help expand our math and science topic coverage. But our most significant traction comes from our major partner, Untapped, a global leader for neurodiversity in the workplace. We're working closely to roll out Wibly across their ecosystem with plans that span multiple countries and multiple platforms with significant long-term growth potential. I'm Nick, the sole founder behind Wibly, And back in school, I could never really sit still, let alone pay attention in class. And I saw the same in many of my students. Curious minds that were held back because the learning environment just wasn't built for them. Brian Mora is Wibly's CTO and secondary board member, and he brings over 30 years' experience in tech, so he knows the ins and outs of building scalable SaaS businesses. Ana Coscanares brings in the education perspective, drawing from her experience in alternative teaching and in managing partnerships between schools and educational programs. We've also been working with a development service that specializes in building US edtech tools. So together, we set the foundation for a team that knows how to build SaaS and knows how people learn. In order to reach our 10K MRR mark, we are targeting a 300K pre-seed safe round for 12 months of operation. This will help us strengthen our core MVP, expand our content library, and begin our international expansion as we grow over the next school year. Wibly isn't just another edtech tool. We're building the go-to visual layer that sits atop traditional education, making it more accessible for every student in any subject. Thanks.